It's one thing to be an expert, which is very important, but being perceived as an expert is just as important. So here are 5 things that real experts do that you probably don't. First off, they get over imposter syndrome. And I totally get it. Being an expert comes with a lot of imposter syndrome. We have this responsibility and feeling that we need to know everything and that we have to be the expert, which puts a lot of unnecessary pressure on ourselves as experts. And the reason that we feel imposter syndrome is because we put the spotlight on ourselves. We feel that we need to have all of the answers, all of the information, that people are, relying on us. And these things are true, but it's the unnecessary pressure put on ourselves and putting too much focus on us rather than doing what we should do, which is put the focus on our people and the mission that we're trying to serve. Now, if you're really struggling with imposter syndrome, the first thing that I always do with myself, because I go in phases, is just to acknowledge my accomplishments. And the more accomplishments that you have throughout your career, whether it's client wins or accolades or just work that you've put in or progress you've made for yourself, the more you can rely on those things to bring you back up and make you realize that you've done a lot of stuff that makes you totally credible as an expert. If you think about whatever it is that you're an expert in, maybe it's fitness, or with me, it's like online business, entrepreneurship. The goal is to build an online business where, you make great money and you have freedom to live the life that you want. Like, that's the impact that I want to make. So if I'm so focused on me being this perfect know-it-all expert, which is never the case, all I can really do is think about how can I contribute to this overall mission? Because let's face it, I'm not the only person helping people get to that place. If you teach fitness or relationships or whatever it is that you want to be an expert in, think about the experience of relationships. Like, it is a forever problem that people will have, is finding love, rekindling love, loving themselves or putting money in their pocket or getting into great shape. Like, these problems are universal and they will never go away. So all that we can do as experts is show up and do our part in helping people on that journey. But it's not like we are the only person where all of that falls onto us. But again, it goes back to, am I really good enough? Do I really know what I'm talking about? Yes, you do. If you're obsessed with a topic, you live, breathe, and believe in your topic, you are an expert. And it's just really about you owning that and putting the focus on other people. The second thing that real experts do is answer people's questions. To be a really reputable expert, you have to focus on 2 things throughout your career, and that's reputation and results. It's constantly about getting people the results that you can help them achieve. And in doing that, you're going to build up your reputation, how people perceive you. So when your name is spoken at an event or a conference, or it's in an article or anything like that, that should be associated with good feelings and a good reputation. The way you build that is by getting out there and helping people get results. So join some online forums. It could be in LinkedIn, Discord, Facebook groups, Reddit, YouTube comments or blog comments, and just start helping people. Now, when you do this, it's not a place for you to be acting like you're the know-it-all and you're so amazing. You have these insanely long responses. Keep it as short as possible, but long enough to help the person. And it's also not a time for you to be promoting that you are an expert content creator or an expert in your field. It's just you answering the person's question and saying, hope that helps. If it makes sense, you can always offer to help that person. If they say, wow, you're really smart, you're really knowledgeable about this, can I ask you some more questions? Like, yeah, sure, we can sit down on a phone call or a Zoom call, and I'd be happy to help you out further. By far, the best way that you can start being an even greater expert is by producing your own content regularly, every single week. If you can focus on a really good in-depth blog post, YouTube video, or a podcast of some sort, people are going to start to follow, start to listen to you, and hear your thoughts and ideas. Now, if you don't know where to start with that, or maybe you're just kind of getting stuck on what should I talk about for my next post, I have a really helpful guide that I want to give to you. It's 50 catchy title formulas that get clicks. If you just focused on one good blog post, podcast, or YouTube video every week, this guide will give you more than enough ideas to fill up at least a year's worth of content, and it's totally free. So if you want to pick up that guide, just go to profityourknowledge.com/titles. There's also a link down in the description. The third thing that real experts do that you may or may not be doing is they focus on being a guest. You can be a guest through blog articles, published media, podcast episodes or just collaborating with other creators, going into different Facebook groups, anything like that where you are the star and people are asking you direct questions. And a really easy way to start getting booked as a guest on different podcasts is to go to Facebook, go to groups, and then type in podcast guesting groups or podcast collaboration groups. In here, you can make posts and connect with a bunch of different podcasters, and you can request to either find a guest on your podcast or to be a guest on other people's shows. Now, I spend a lot of time in these groups for my own podcast because I love to interview experts and I collaborate with experts by having my own show. But what I found is that when you make a post saying, hey, I really want to be a guest, you may get a couple of responses. But when you make a post saying, hey, I'm looking for guests, everybody wants to be a guest because they understand that experts guest on shows. So you can use some reverse psychology here. And if you have a podcast where you can invite people onto your show who have a similar audience as you can then build a relationship with these people because 9 times out of 10, they also have a podcast. And after you've built a relationship by first leading with value, inviting them onto your show, they will probably want to have you on their show as just the natural law of reciprocity goes. So by inviting more people onto your podcast to be guests, you will be able to be a guest on more shows. This is how I've been able to get in front of hundreds or thousands of people at a time by going on other people's stages or their own podcasts. You just need to be strategic about who you're inviting onto the show and who you are building a relationship with on your podcast. The fourth thing that real experts do that you probably don't do enough of is continuous learning. And I'm not talking just about reading books, which is great, or watching some YouTube videos or listening to a podcast. All that stuff is great and it is continuous learning. I'm talking about really investing in yourself, hiring a coach, joining a private mastermind. When you invest in knowledge, it sticks way better with you. And that's the same thing when people invest in you, your programs, your books, your coaching, all of that kind of stuff. When you put skin in the game, your brain just gets serious about the information that you're going to be learning because you put in your hard-earned money. And what's even more important than you investing in yourself and the best that you can access, it's sharing the stories from your experience in investing in yourself. The thing about real experts is that experts speak from experience. If you've ever noticed the greatest expert that you love to follow, if it's Tony Robbins, Alex Hormozy, Russell Brunson, Brendon Burchard, all these guys are huge experts in the personal development, the marketing space, etc. But something that they all have in common is that they share a ton of stories. And these are stories from their personal experience doing the thing that they teach. If you're an expert in relationships and you're like, how am I going to stand out from all the other people who teach relationships? It's the stories of your experience with your topic of relationships. Everybody has such a unique story. And what real experts do is learn principles and strategies that they can apply to their life, and then they share that with the people behind them. For me, for example, I'm constantly learning new things just to develop myself as an individual, but also in terms of my business. I'm learning new strategies. And when I learn these things, I can send an email over to my audience or share it with a client, a story of me learning this thing or where I learned it or how I learned it. And then I can transfer that knowledge to them. And then that's going to help them grow in this area of relationships or business or whatever it is as well. So just know that we're all on the same journey. Your job as the expert is just to be a little bit further than the people that you can help and to learn from people who are further than you. And the fifth thing that real experts do that you probably don't do enough of is show proof. It seems simple enough, but you'd be surprised at how many people don't do this. I didn't do it for years. I didn't put an emphasis on collecting testimonials and proof of concept for so long, and that's what made making sales way harder. Obviously, what I talked about before was reputation and results. So as you're helping your clients or your students get great results, what's going to help your reputation is getting praise from them. As soon as they say, thank you so much, I couldn't have done this without you, and they're on a high and really excited about how you've helped them get a new result, that's where you can say, hey, would you mind shooting me a quick little video or writing me a little testimonial? As you get these testimonials, put them on your website, your YouTube channel or your blog, your LinkedIn profile. Showcase how you're helping people in your given field of expertise. And ideally, you want to make this as easy as possible for you, but also for the people that you're asking to leave you a testimonial. Now, a couple things I've done is one, create a page for video testimonials, just walking people through what to say, where to send me the video, and telling them how to set up their phone, all that kind of stuff, so I can get a really good video testimonial. Another easy way to collect testimonials is by creating a Jot form or a Google form that you can easily send over to people. What I like to ask in my forms emails is, what are 3 things you loved about working with me? If there's one thing that you could change about your experience with me, what would that one thing be? This will give you a bit of feedback. And my last question is, what would you say to someone who's considering working with me? When you send that over to someone, they're going to fill out the form and you're going to get notified when you get a response. Now, another really easy and paid tool is testimonial.to, where this will create a little widget that points straight to your website. And as soon as somebody records a video or types in a little bit of text, it'll automatically get published over to your site. I'll put a link down to testimonial.to down below. Just know that it's not sponsored. I don't have an affiliation with testimonial.to. It's just a really helpful tool that I know about, and you may want to check it out. Now that you're on your way to being a real expert, you may be thinking about, well, okay, I get that I'm an expert. I have all this experience, but how do I really start an online business around that? Well, that's why you should check out this video where I show you exactly what I would do if I were starting an online business in 2024 and beyond. If you have any questions, let me know in a comment below. Other than that, take what you learned here, get out there, make something happen. I will see you in the next one.